Hello, everyone. My name is Brooke Hiddink. I am the founder of the High Ticket Ecom Incubator, and today we're here with one of our students, Mike. Mike, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Mike Reese. I joined the incubator in like December 27th, I think was my intro call. And since then, I've been able to do about 35,000 in sales last month. So I'm pretty happy to be here. It's been a
That's incredible, man.
it's been a
Yeah,
great ride. Yeah.
yeah. It's been awesome. I remember when you joined, my business partner David took the call with you, and he messaged me as soon as you joined and said, "This guy's going to crush it." It was one of the first things he said to me. So he's been proven to be right so far.
Hell
So
yeah.
just going to dive into a few questions. So what did you do before you joined? Are you working a 9 to 5? Have you tried any businesses in the past? Kind of just give us an overview of what you've done before leading up to the point where you launched
Yeah.
your store.
So I do work a 9 to 5 still, but I have tried businesses in the past. I actually tried to be a trader on the stock market for about 4 years before this. Back in like 2018, I made about $500,000 off of the crypto boom, that first one.
Wow.
So I was like, man, I must be great at this. Let's give it a shot. And did the whole like worked a 9 to 5 for a bit, and then tried to take that professionally. And uh, I ended up over like the course of until 2022, basically just like whittling down that nest egg I had until I was basically back to normal. And yeah, I basically I never got to a point where I was like, this is something I got a hang of and I can grow it and nurture it. And but I've always had that kind of entrepreneurial spirit, I guess. So that's what I've been doing up until now. And then um, like once I was like, all right, trading's not for me, but I still want to do something. Like I get a 9 to 5 job, and like 3 months later, I'm like, all right, what's the next thing? What am I gonna do? So
Some people just can't do 9 to 5s, man. I'm the same way. There's no way I could do it long term. So I
yeah,
completely understand. So what about ecom specifically? Was there something that kind of led you down that path, or how'd you come across it?
honestly, so there's kind of two answers to that. The first one is no, there's not a specific. I started to realize that it doesn't really matter what I'm doing as long as it's something that I can kind of grow and nurture and like get a variable return on my effort is a good way to put that.
Yep.
So I was looking for kind of a vehicle to start a business with. And I actually came across one of your posts on Twitter, and I was just reading through it, and I saw your free site at the time, and I was going through that, and I was like, all right, this dude definitely knows what he's talking about. Because I've done, especially with the trading world, there's a ton of like gurus in quotes,
Yes.
and you can get a sense pretty quickly. I've done like workshops with people who knew what they were doing but couldn't articulate it. I've done workshops with people who didn't know what they were doing. So it's kind of a bit of a grab bag out there. But when I saw your content, I was like, all right, this is definitely worth whatever investment it is. So I wanted to just give a business a shot, and you had a really great vehicle for that.
Awesome. That makes a lot of sense, man. That's yeah. Ultimately, I think that's a big issue with people is they kind of analysis by paralysis. Like they want to do business, and this was me for a very long time. Like I wanted to do business. I knew I wanted to do business, but I didn't have a vehicle to put that effort in. So it doesn't. It matters far less what you're doing, as long
Mhm.
as I think for people like us who don't want to work a 9 to 5, it's just like we just want to do something where we can build something that will pay us back over time, and there's not going to be a cap. Like it's not going to be like
Yeah.
this is how you get a raise of 2% for your year, no matter how hard you work. We just want to see a proportionate gain to our effort, you know?
Rodney Mullen actually has a really, really great TED talk about this specific thing that I thought was a good analogy for this. I watched it like a decade ago, but he talks about you need kind of two things to succeed. You need the gears and you need the engine. And he
Yep.
said the smartest guy he ever met in regards to like, I know he was like a skateboarder and everything, but just in terms of capability was a guy who worked at like a gas station in Cincinnati. And because he was like, this guy had all the gears, but he didn't have the engine. So for me at least, I had the engine, I had the drive, and I needed a vehicle, literally and metaphorically, to put this in and get the gears basically. And that's what I found at least with this course. It was a really, really great opportunity for me to just put willpower and effort into something that was structured in a way that'll help me succeed. So
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I
mm,
completely agree. So you joined December 27th, I remember right after the holiday.
yeah,
Um, I think you had probably the quickest first sale someone's had. So I think you made when was your first sale? It was end of January, right? So about a
yeah.
month.
End of like January 30th. And then my Google Ads account got banned this same day. It was which just took the momentum from like up to just like stagnant for like a month.
How long? So, and then last month in March, you did what was it?
35,000 revenue.
35. Okay.
Yeah.
So when did you have your Google Ads account back for all of March, or did you get it back?
No, it got middle of March, so it was like the second weekend of March, and then like immediately after that was back. The sales just took like right back off.
Oh
So,
wow. So you did 35 then almost on the latter half of March if you just got the account
oh
halfway through.
yeah, oh 100%. You can actually see the if you look at the monthly thing, there's like little blips, like little mini sales of like 300, 400, and then like middle of March hits and it's just like pop, 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 pop. So it's Google Ads
I
is
was
a
wondering.
huge part of this.
That makes sense, man. I was wondering. Um, I knew you had a very good March, and I knew that a lot of came at the back end, but I didn't know your ads account was banned until I didn't know it was still banned in March. But that makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's a whole ordeal. The Google Ads support system is a little bit broken. I got thoughts on it, but yeah, whenever it was finally resolved, um, it things took right back off. So it was great.
Yeah. So obviously, very quick for sale, like right around the month mark. Um,
Mhm.
how how much work were you putting in that first month? So you obviously have a 9 to 5. I
Yeah.
know you're a very hard worker, but that is we try and aim for 4 to 6 weeks. You were on the very bottom of that, so you did it quick. Like how much were you putting in work wise that first month to get live and get that sale?
I put in a lot. This is kind of
Yeah.
what I do. It's not like I wasn't really exaggerating when talking about having like the engine and stuff. I don't really, I kind of live my life in a way where I don't have a lot of other responsibilities on purpose. And I don't want to glorify this because I don't think it's the right choice for everybody, but I ended up breaking up with my girlfriend in middle January when it started to become apparent that this was something that I really enjoyed and it wasn't the type of life that she had envisioned for
Yeah.
herself. So it was just an incompatibility. But it's a priority for me, I guess is a good way to put it. So I put a lot of time into it. Definitely 8 hours a day minimum, and then I'll on top of like I've mostly at this point like largely automated my 9 to 5. There's still some work I have to do for that, but I pretty much work on this as like a full-time job all the time.
That's awesome, man. And that's a great lesson for people. Like, if you're listening to this and you think it's a get rich quick scheme, it's not. Don't join the program if you think that. Mike
Yeah,
is the kind of people we want to work with. Who's got the drive, who's got the engine, who's going to put the work in. And when you have that, the results are going to be there. But it's not a get rich quick scheme at all. So I'm glad you touched on that because a lot of people, I think, in the online money space
mhm.
think that it is, but it's not. Like it's real work, it's a real business, and you actually have to put effort in to see results.
I think that's kind of the beauty of it in a weird way. Like I know there's like this kind of paradoxical people want to get rich so that they don't have to do work mindset, and that's just I think a flawed uh, formula. You know,
It is.
like the joy is in the journey, and if you enjoy the process of growing and building and doing something, the rewards naturally come from that. So like the fact that this is a genuine bona fide business model. Like it's exactly what you need to have a business. And if you enjoy the process of entrepreneurship and having a business and growing that and the pain and the pleasure that comes with that, then this is exactly what that's for. But it's not you're not just gonna walk in one day and get 30,000 sales after just because you did
No,
it, you know?
no, and that's I agree, man. I think that's what a lot of people miss is the fulfill like the money is good in business, but the fulfillment comes from the building, the struggle, and like
Mhm.
the figuring out things on your own and the hitting a roadblock and breaking through it and making that next level. Like that's where the joy of actually being in business is. It's not getting rich and going to sip mimosas on a beach. Like I'll never be doing that,
No,
ever.
I get so antsy when I don't. I took the first weekend off that I've taken since probably January. Well, this past weekend because I just like worked like a little too hard and got tired, and I was like, "All right,
Yeah.
need a breather." But even that, I just get kind of uncomfortable, and I don't know if that's necessarily balanced, but it is just who I am, and it's something that I don't know, like I don't know. It's I'm not gonna like wax poetic about all that stuff, but it's something that like if you genuinely enjoy what you're doing, then that in and of itself is a reward. So like that's kind
Yeah,
of the way I
yeah.
want to go about my life, you know?
That's kind of like me, like as well. Like
Mhm.
when I'm at like family dinners or like Christmas holidays, like my brain, even if I'm not working on the business, my brain is on the business
Yeah,
at all
exactly.
times.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
awesome, man. So what were you kind of? Obviously, you've had some great results. What were you expecting coming in? So obviously, you went through the free course. You had a nice background of at least what the business model was. But did you
Yeah.
expect the results you've seen, obviously given how hard you were going to work, or did you kind of surprise yourself?
I'm definitely surprised with this past month. I think it's in one like I try not to expect too much because I don't think it's. I mean, humans are really bad at predicting the future. Just like an easy corollary is the fact that we're having all these issues with like the banks and the interest rates, and like I feel like that should have been a really obvious thing. Like duration risk is something you learn in like college undergrad. So like um, humans are really bad at predicting what's going to happen. So I try not to do it. I'm just like, all right, this is the work that I've got cut out for me, and if I keep doing the work, then the results will just start to happen. And besides, as you start getting results, you have to shift and adjust anyways. So you can't be like, here's what I'm going to do, and it's going to work out this way because it's going to work out some way completely different. You're going to have to adjust anyways.
I completely agree. I completely agree. So, changing gears a bit. So on the store now, very good March. Have you delegated anything on the store? Is it just you? Have you hired any VAs, even for product uploads, or how have you kind of managed the store responsibilities to this point?
It's only me. Yeah, which is something I'm now like now I'm gonna hire someone for sure because I'm just like all right, it's starting to get to be a lot.
Yeah.
But I come from a tech background, tech-ish. I'm not um, like a super coder or anything. I'm self-taught with all that, but I know enough to be able to make things significantly more efficient than they would be otherwise. So I've been able to scale it by myself because I have a background with like data engineering and stuff, and I can manipulate larger amounts of data relatively easily, which is helpful.
Have you used ChatGPT to upload products yet? Someone in the group actually said to me yesterday that they found a way to use it to get the products on the website faster. But I thought of you when they said that.
Man, no, I haven't used it. I used it mostly to clean unstructured data and to parse unstructured data into structured data. So like a lot of times, at least in my niche, which is heavy machinery attachments, attachmentsking.com, um, there's not a lot of like actual inventory systems and stuff. A lot of times they'll just like a list, an Excel sheet, and it'll be
Yeah.
kind of put together. I parse a lot of either like plain text or stuff into actual tables, and that's what helps me become more efficient. But I haven't used it to upload products, which is something that's really interesting. I'd like to
Yeah.
figure out that.
I'll connect you with the person after the call who said they
Mhm.
figured it out because I figured it's probably pretty complex even with it, but I'm sure with your background you would be able to figure it out pretty easily.
Mhm.
So, obviously, some quick success. Do you think that there's any breaking points or real differentiators that helped? What, like, was it the niche you picked? Was it the ads instruction? What exactly do you think, if you had to pick like two or three things that have been real needle movers or breaking points, what would you say?
Yeah, needle movers have nothing to do with what you're doing. It's all about who you are. It's because the niche I picked isn't even actually the point of the program, and it's actually probably not the best choice
It's
of a
not.
niche.
It's
It's
not.
yeah, it's like
You've had an uphill grind compared to a lot of people who are not
yeah.
doing as well as you. Yeah.
I mean, it's just the world we live in right now. That like the wealth inequality, sell to the people who money doesn't mean stuff to. I'm not doing that. So like, you could probably have a way easier time if you sell luxury, if you sell things that are like a little bit lighter, like jewelry or something like that. But no, I think it all comes down to the fact that no matter what you choose, you're going to run into some kind of obstacle. Like every niche is going to have its own quirks, whether
Yes.
it's way more expensive ads because it's kind of like saturated because there's like great margins and it's a great thing. But no, I think the needle movers are all about who you are, and it's just being comfortable with adversity is the first thing. Like just getting comfortable when things go wrong and not freaking out and just realizing like, all right, we're I'm gonna fix it. It's not a big deal. Like Monday, I had 500 products on Google Merchant Center just get delisted because it had like an overlay in the images. So that's what I did Monday. I just like fixed all that, and it's just
Yeah, but these things happen, and you get
yeah,
like the biggest
yeah.
thing I've kind of picked up as I've been in business longer is your stress tolerance goes up. Because I can remember when I started, Shopify payments would like hold my money for like a
Yeah.
week longer than I like when I made a sale, I wouldn't get the money right away, and I'd have to like put the order on my personal credit card, and like I would
Mhm.
be up all night. But now it's just like if PayPal holds 50 grand, like it's just kind of
Yeah.
expected. So
No,
your
it's
stress
exactly
tolerance
that.
goes
So
up.
like,
Yeah.
so you can kind of see in the program when people come in and they start asking questions about every single thing right off the bat. You can't really be that person. You got to be able to figure stuff out for yourself. You got to get comfortable with the fact that things are going to go wrong, and you're going to have to be the person to figure it out because this is a business, and if it's your business, it's your responsibility to solve these things. So
Yes, it's yeah, and that's the best kind of definition of an entrepreneur I think you can say is like a problem solver.
yeah.
Like you're just excellent at solving problems, even if you've never heard of the problem before. If you like, the
Mhm.
trick is just being able to figure it out.
And
That's the
it's the
trick.
age of information. You got Google, you got ChatGPT, you got all kinds of stuff. Like there's options out the wazoo for figuring some of this stuff out. So it's
Yeah.
the onus is on you for sure. So as long as you like take that in and like really embody that, where it falls on you, that's the needle mover for everyone I've seen at least.
Yeah, I completely agree. So with the sales, has it been, well, I guess first, how many brands do you have on your store at this point? How many have you
Mhm.
closed? How many you got on the store? And the sales, have they been primarily from one or two brands, or has there been a nice distribution amongst a number?
So I this is an area of improvement I need to do. I only have 15 brands on the store right now, and the bulk of my sales from this past month were from one brand, and it was actually one single product.
Oh, wow.
It ends up being like a quirk of the niche that I'm in.
This is the
But
same for me. This is normal, though. It's normal
yeah,
to have that
so
one brand. Yeah.
so I only actually have a small amount of brands. Most of the sales are from one brand. And there's like a bit of interest in another one, but in the heavy machinery attachment space, even like the advertising process is different because there isn't a lot of brand product identity. There's not like very specific versions of products. It's just a bucket, like an excavator bucket, right? So that any company can make a bucket. It's not different. Like, so people search for buckets. They don't search for like Geeth or like Amulet or anything. So yeah, so that's it. Just ends up happening to be like one brand. I guess that's a long way to answer your question, but yeah.
Cool. So, do you have any specific goals for the next like 3, 6, 12 months? Or are you just going to kind of keep doing the needle moving things and see what
Mhm.
happens? Or do you have any specific goals you'd like to take? Obviously, we hit the one
Yeah,
100,000 by December, but
it's a big
anything
one.
in the meantime?
Yeah, there's something I want to do with the data. I'm not gonna really talk on it, but there's something I want to do to make it a little bit better for the purchase process in general. The next 3 months, my goal, I'm gonna hire an operator, basically, someone to help do the product uploads and facilitate all that, and like the customer service and everything. 3 months, I think my goal is gonna be like 50K a month by the end of the next 3 months, like pretty consistent, and I think, yeah. So it's actually mostly just those two things, and then starting the SEO thing. That was the third thing. So I have to start like, I really want to focus heavy on like backlinks and blogging and like that kind of thing, and setting up the process for SEO for the site.
Yeah, I think honestly, if I had to, I haven't done a ton of research on it, but I would imagine that there's a ton of SEO potential in your niche. I've done some preliminary research just like for making my own videos, and it
Mhm.
seems like products in your space are usually very high volume and not very competitive. So if you can get some SEO going, I think that would be a big needle mover for your store.
That's what I'm thinking too, and that's why it's an area that I need to put like a lot of emphasis on. I've got it. I got the store off the ground running. It's profitable now, so that's going to be a big like permanence, I guess. Like it really
Yeah.
embedding yourself in the space.
That's the closest thing you can get to a moat around an ecom business.
Yeah.
Is like with me, like someone can close my brands and start running ads to them tomorrow, and my ad costs can go up. Where if
Mhm.
you have like 10, 15, 20,000 of free visitors a month who are interested in your products, like that's the closest thing to a moat you can get, and that's what will really increase the valuation of the business in the long
Mhm.
run. And on that point, what's your kind of long-term goal for the store? Is it something that you would like to build up and then sell, or is it something that you want to just be like your cash flow business, kind of like your source of income? Do you have thoughts on that, or are you just kind of open to
Yeah.
both? What
No,
happens?
I do. I don't want to sell this. I'm really interested in just kind of taking this as far as it can go. And because even if I choose to do some other type of business, I'm learning things almost every day about the process of business. So like until I hit an actual like real ceiling where it's like either I've completely got my total addressable market and I'd have to merge with some mega company, which is years and years and years down the line. Like I just want to push this as far as it can go and do business and just grow this and face the challenges, overcome them, that kind of thing. So I have no
Yeah,
plans to sell. I don't really want money for the sake of money. I'd rather have like a vehicle that I can grow and everything. So I've got that.
makes
So
sense.
I'm just gonna do it.
And the thing is also like once you do this once, um, like you said, you're learning so much that the process is very easy to repeat once you do it once. So like once you kind of
Yeah.
get this one largely automated, growing, you can always just continue putting effort into it to grow it. But it would be very easy for you to build a second one or even expand into other categories on your existing one, because it's yeah, there's not a ceiling as to how big you can grow this. Like, there's stores in our space doing hundreds of millions of dollars that are essentially on the same business model as us. So the sky's the limit. Awesome stuff, man. Well, just last question will be, so if you were speaking to either you 4 or 5 months ago or someone interested in e-com about getting into it, what would you recommend them about the course? Overall, what would you kind of say to that person?
When I was trying to do things on my own, I was like looking stuff up and figuring things out. And it took me, I do things in 3-month segments where I give myself goals for 3 months and then check in at the end of 3 months. That way, because you can just like wander off course forever if you don't. And I went through like 3 different 3-month segments of trying a different thing and trying to forge the path on my own. And it's so much harder than it has to be. Like, find a community, find people that are doing things, and specifically find a vehicle. Like, this course has everything you need to build a business. So in the past, my last 3-month segment from January 1st to March 31st, I went from not even having a store up and running, because that happened on like January 16th, to doing 35,000 in revenue and having a profitable store in 3 months. And that condensed time, like, to reward ratio, is so much more valuable than trying to do it on your own or like forge a path. Like, just fuck doing all that. Like, it's, everyone's interconnected right now. Find people who are doing what you want to do and find a vehicle for that. And this course is absolutely perfect for that.
Awesome stuff, man. Well, it's been absolutely great chatting with you. I'll end the interview now, but we can stay on and just catch up for a minute. But thanks a lot, Mike. It's been awesome having you.
Absolutely.